Please make sure that when you're doing this without people around because they're going to think that you're mental.
crazy.
But
Okay.
I find that doing this every single day actually helps, especially for people who use their oral cavities and all of that.
There's a
facial
meme
expressions.
coming, guys. Get ready to snap that meme. Oh, yeah,
No, it's going to look it's horrible. No, now that you don't. I'm not sure if I want to do that.
Do it. Go Mazzino.
No,
Go Mazzino.
come on. No. Stop.
Why?
But actually, exercising your facial muscles, pretty much like this.
Oh, like that?
Much more intensively. I don't want it because I'm going to be look very ugly.
No,
They're actually from some facial weights, though.
Yeah,
They're
and
facial weights. Have you heard of them?
there's an even simpler one.
What?
Now, what I'm going to teach you now is very simple and something that everybody should do this morning before going out. Take a piece of paper, fold it in two, and for the next 10 minutes, do this.
What?
The quiet exercise.
It's very quiet and very sane. What it does is it helps you squeeze your muscles from your mouth, your nose, and even your eyes, your eyelids. And it just gives that little exercise that we don't get to do often. It's very easy. You guys should try it out.
People think it's actually easy, but it's not, because the more you press your lips on the paper, the more you're using all your facial muscles, because you have to concentrate on it.
I actually do
So
face
if it's by
exercises,
facial
you
muscles,
know.
you know what? You use more muscles when you frown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that
So
before.
that's frowning is good exercise.
So
But
you see,
please-
Yeah, isn't it?
grumpy
Yes.
people look younger. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Frown,
they
so
don't.
see, it's not, look, there are no absolutes. So that just tells you that, look, this facial muscle thing, there are caveats somewhere.
Perhaps.
You use more muscles when you frown.
I'm going to post what I found on facial exercises online. There's actually facial weights that help you reduce your chin and your cheeks and all that.
That's good.
I'll post that later on. But there's quite a lot still to come on
We've got
Wake
the
Up
weather
Nigeria.
coming up next.
Man, there was one serious thunder last night. Did you guys?
We will talk about
I felt that
rain
but
in
yeah,
December.
In December.
After yesterday's rain.
After-
Let's
let's
do the
look at
weather
the weather.
when we come back. Some more for you inside of Wake Up Nigeria. And you're welcome back. So let's get the news done here inside of Wake Up Nigeria. Welcome. Thursday, 10th of December, that's the day President Muhammadu Buhari will address a joint session of the National Assembly on the worsening security situation in the country. Now, that's according to the President's personal assistant on social media, Loretta Onoche, who disclosed this on her Twitter handle yesterday. Now, the President's visit to the National Assembly is coming on a few days after the House of Representatives invited him to appear before the lawmakers. The majority leader of the House, Al-Hassan Ado Degua, was also confirmed the President's address at the National Assembly in an exclusive interview with TVC News yesterday. He insists the visit will afford the lawmakers the opportunity to seek answers to any questions bothering Nigerians. He also
We had
disowned
with him, the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and my humble self, was simply to convey to him the resolution of the House that we were inviting him to come and interface, engage, and see and address the members of the House of Representatives. And by so doing, like the Speaker has rightly put, is that he is coming to address Nigerians through their representatives. And we must have to commend Mr. President in the first place for even accepting to honor this House, to honor the Nigerian people as a democratically elected president, to come and do what has never happened in the history of Nigeria's legislature. Even at the state level, you find out governors turning down the invitation of their state assemblies.
Now, he also disowned opposition member Kingsley Chinda's statement calling on members to commence impeachment moves against President Muhammadu Buhari over worsening security in the country. It describes the call as a misrepresentation of the intent of the House for inviting Mr. President over worsening insecurity. Now, the majority leader of the House, Alassane Ado Doguwa, says the call is unpatriotic and the House may sanction the member over what he calls a wrongdoing. Meanwhile, a forum of young northern professional politicians and religious leaders known as Unity in Diversity Forum has canvassed for the deployment of a special elite force on a 24-hour shift to all known roads and highways in the northern part of the country. This resolution was reached after a 4-hour meeting by the forum in Abuja. Correspondent Habida Lawal reports. Now, the air component of Operation Thunderstrike says it has brought down another camp and neutralized several armed bandits at the Kusasa area of Kaduna State. The statement signed by the Coordinator Defense Media Operations, Major General John Eneche, says the feat was achieved through airstrikes executed on Sunday after human intelligence reports led to the identification of the camp of the bandit leader known as Alhaji Labi, an associate of Dogon Gede, a notorious bandit leader in Katsina State. The statement says the air component deployed fighter jets and helicopter gunships against the location, delivering devastating hits which destroyed their structures and logistics storage facilities, killing several armed bandits in the process. And the Kaduna State government has begun consultations across the 3 senatorial districts of the state for improved security of lives and property there. The Deputy Governor, Adiza Balarebe, met with senator members of the House of Representatives, State House of Assembly and chairmen from 15 local government areas that make up the Zone 1 and 2 respectively. In attendance as well are district heads of Kaduna North and Central senatorial districts.
Our next focus will be the Southern Kaduna Senatorial District. But for now, this is what we are doing. We are trying to review the situation and to also come up with ways that we can help, we can enhance security in the 2 zones.
And that's all we have for the news here today. Coming up next, we have some sports, and I think Mike is standing by and very ready for us.
Top of the morning, welcome to Sports News Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mike Messikeno. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has hailed the return of fans as a wonderful sign that normality is returning on the ongoing fight against COVID-19. Now, Klopp's Liverpool played in front of supporters for the first time since winning the Premier League. Anfield welcomed a 2,000 crowd with their biggest league win of the season against Wolves to draw level on 24 points with leaders Tottenham. And now, of course, moving on from that, we have some local news. Actually, of course, the preparations for the 20th National Sports Festival have prompted calls for more investment towards the development of lesser sports in Nigeria. Chairman of the Lagos State Archery Association, Bode Ojajuni, in an exclusive chat with TVC News, said the obsession with football is the reason why other sports do not get the attention of government and corporate Nigeria. He urged stakeholders in the Nigerian sports fraternity to pay attention to other sports with medal-winning prospects at international competitions, including the Olympic Games.
In the 80s and 90s, you found out that all sporting activities were very, very important. There was no any inferiority of one sport to another. Today, most of them are not given prominent, attention. However, if these different sporting, are developed, definitely the advantage is so enormous that, one, some of these youths will be engaged. They will be trained, they will be exported, foreign exchange will come in, and almost 5% of the youths that are not being engaged now will be engaged in sporting activities, and it's very, very lucrative.
Now, while speaking on the huge impact of the coronavirus pandemic on sports, Ojajuni is optimistic that the coming year will bring sports to continue to lead a global recovery from a health crisis. And then moving on from that onto basketball. President of the Nigeria Basketball Federation, Musa Kida, regrets the continued absence of a premier basketball league in the country. Kida said Nigeria has a huge potential in basketball and there should be high competitive basketball league that will give players, coaches and officials a chance to develop their skills. But the Nigerian Basketball League has been at the center of a legal tussle in the past 3 years. Having recently secured...
Premier League is one of those things that hurts me the most. It hurts me because as president of Nigerian Basketball Federation, I should have a league. I should have a Premier League.
You should have a running league.
I should have a running, a very robust Premier League. I don't have that. And the Federation is as disappointed. And it's not out of want of having a running league or not. It's because we're legally handcuffed. My belief is we should have a lot of leagues if we can. We should have a lot of championships. We should never stop people playing basketball.
So there's a given that if you are tall, you probably should be playing basketball. Now, Mazino is just using his height. I don't know, just driving Okada. I don't know if you have ever... Mazino, have you ever, come in contact with basketball? You ever played the game or something?
Listen, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the fact is I don't believe I should run unless something is chasing me. Why am I chasing after a ball with a couple of other guys? I've got enough ball to deal with, so please.
Do you know there's an international sport, catch, tag and catch? Like Poju.
Yeah.
Seriously. I'll talk about that some other time, but hey, come on. That's it on sports for now. It's time for us to take a look at the headlines of the dailies.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. I wanted to throw one back at you, but I know you're an Arsenal fan and Sunday wasn't very fun for you. But it's okay. You and Mary should just chill.
Benny. Arsenal fan.
Let us do the papers now. Let's find out what's happening on the dailies, the headlines, and we're going to start this morning here from the Guardian newspaper. Today is December, it's the 8th, and of course it's a Tuesday. First big headline on the Guardian newspaper this morning, power grid fails 126 times in 7 years. Now that's a big number. And still at the top of the Guardian for today, PDP backs reps calls for Buhari's removal and Nigerians at war in war zone, says Shoyinka. Our youths plan protests against Buhari over service chiefs, and President praises military, floats housing scheme for slain officers' families. At the bottom of the page here for The Guardian, the front page photo story here, members of the Great Minds Foundation of People with Disabilities barricade the entrance of the Federal Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs to protest alleged non-response to their proposal to celebrate World Disability Day in Abuja only just yesterday. And activists renew NSAS protests despite threats. And that's from the Guardian newspaper. We move on now to the Vanguard newspaper. And of course, as usual, a potpourri of headlines here. We start with the big one. North's security situation depressing, says Iowa Forum. And going along now, says we've nothing to leave as legacy for future generations. Notes violence now means of a livelihood for northern children. Despite killings, statewide records show Buhari did better in Borno, says Zulum. Moving on now to other headlines here. Asset declaration, CCB grills Magu for house plan charges, and most Almajiri not Nigerians, says Ganduje. To the right of the paper for the Vanguard, Southeast PDP Umahi trade words over sacked officials. And a look at the photo story here. UBA MD Uzoka wins Zik Prize for professional leadership. Moving on now to education. NECO talks tough vows to blacklist schools involved in exam fraud, and Ghanaians await result after peaceful election. At the top of the Vanguard newspaper this morning, FG stops fresh NSAS protests in Lagos and Abuja. Heard about that one yesterday. And APC crisis, Oshiomhole disowns Hilliard Etta's suit. PDP reps caucus call for Buhari impeachment logical, says the reps. And insecurity. Hold private talks with Buhari, Uzodinma urges reps. Buhari to address Nigerians, says at National Assembly on Thursday. We'll keep you abreast of that one. We move on now to the Nation newspaper this morning, and the big headline on the Nation newspaper: Buhari warns NSAS protesters to stay off the streets. Agitators retreat over tight security in Lagos. FCT, soldiers police back at Lekki toll gate. There were pictures of that on social media throughout yesterday. At the top of the Nation newspaper, Boko Haram in Southwest as kidnappers, says fire me. Find that on page 10. And on page 8, President to address Joint National Assembly on Thursday. That's 2 days from now. And NBS, Nigeria records 2.389 trillion naira trade deficit in the third quarter. Lagos Ibadan train kickoff marred by low turnout. And at the bottom of the Nation, APC-PDP clash over call for president's impeachment. And Oshiomhole, I am not plotting to return as APC chair. The Punch now, big headline on the front page: fresh NSAS protest, campaigners adamant Buhari talks tough, deploys soldiers and cops. Prepare for more protests. Our demands have not been met, say protesters. Any hooligan hiding behind peaceful protests will be dealt with, President. And police, soldiers storm Lekki, commands, warns youth protesters flay police in Oshogbo. Pictures there from the activities at the toll at Lekki only just from yesterday. At the bottom of the Punch, Fayose Olujimi, PDP factions clash over members' suspension, and teenagers fake own death, or rather fake own kidnap with lover, demands 30 million from parents. I'd like to know who your parents are. And airports concession others will go ahead despite opposition, says the federal government. And that was from the Punch newspaper. Indeed, that's as much as we can take this morning for the papers. Perhaps inside the second hour we'll bring you more, so do stay tuned. We've got very interesting discussion and conversation going on inside of the kitchen for coffee. Just let's find out what we're going to be talking about today. Do stay tuned. So guys, what are we talking about now?
Yeah. Titi's got it today.
Well, yeah, there's been so much that we missed over the past few weeks, you know, and there's so much to talk about. One key thing is the Fresh Prince reunion. Now,
That's
Will
the Fresh
Smith,
Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes.
Okay.
Will Smith is someone that's followed all over the world, millions and millions. I think it was like, at a point, he was like the 5th most followed man in the world. And a lot of people enjoyed the comedy sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from the 90s. And after what, how many years? Was it like 25 years, 20 years, something like that?
It should be like 30 years now.
More than?
It's been long.
They all came back. And then there was just so much energy around the fact that they all came back. So many issues happening behind the scenes. But one key thing I wanted to mention was, if you remember his mother from the show.
Yeah.
His mother on the show changed at some point. It was originally a darker lady, and then became someone. Yeah. So everybody was wondering why that happened.
Okay.
And apparently there was some serious bad blood on set between Will Smith and the First Lady. So I was like, after so many years, they decided to come back together and settle those issues. But I was just wondering, if after so many years, you know, it probably like tanked her career at some point. If after so many years, someone now comes and tells you sorry for doing something to you that, okay, imagine someone did something to me that made me not go into TV anymore after that. How would you feel? Coming to say sorry after 30 years?
Well, see, forgiveness does not have a time limit.
Are you sure?
It does not. It does not. I've always told people something. Personally, if I'm angry at you, it's because I care about you or because you mean something to me. Okay. Emotions don't usually overwhelm me for strangers. I know it's a very bad habit, but it's easier for me to tolerate people that I don't have any business with or they don't mean anything to me than people that maybe were people I liked or I like. Then you see me get angry or really happy But I don't do emotions with strangers.
But take note, that changed the trajectory of her life. It took her out of the industry.
This is a whoa moment. You know what a whoa is?
What?
Words of wisdom. Maybe just whoa. So now I always say sorry, I just say whoa. But I get where you're coming from, yeah. Especially one case we can really relate with is secondary school or primary school, the kind of things that happen to us. Yeah. And then you hear some people talk about, that senior, I will never forgive him. He trashed my bum man. You know. So time limit of forgiveness, it's relative. You know, there's some people that at times it does help when you say sorry after such a long time.
17 years ago plus 3, that's 4, 5. When I was in GSS 3, 20 years ago, Turayo, you called me coconut head. I've never forgotten it.
Your head is fine coconut.
Well, it was mainly because I was the youngest in my set, so I got a lot of bullying. And I used to get left out of so many things because everybody knew the small girl.
You know, you went to better school, but you know went to First Start Comprehensive Grammar School.
Wow.
Even Olami, they went that school.
They always act like that school is one prestigious.
Don't mind them. They're the people that started protest first. Those kind of schools there. But they want to tell us about...
It's been 27 years since the last season. They had 6 seasons.
Good morning,
it was Aunt
sir.
Viv. It was his it was his auntie. And yes, Titi, that was it was very big bad blood between them because it actually did destroy her career. And when they came back during the reunion to discuss this, you had to acknowledge the emotions that came from both parties, Fresh Prince and Aunt Viv, because it was a revelation to both of them. They both didn't understand at that time what they were putting each other through. But 30 odd years after, they realized from different perspectives, much more mature now, their parents, how it affected them and what they could have done better. I liked that they came back together. I wish that I could talk to some people that I've offended in the past and actually be able to have that kind of relationship with them again. But it's going to be very difficult.
No, I was talking about your school. Did you get the first part? I talk about First Start Comprehensive Grammar School.
First Start Grammar School, Mike.
It's grammar school. There's no comprehensive inside. I always think that they have to be comprehensive. Junior. You know, that's the way those names, they tally. First Start Comprehensive Grammar. So tell us, was there any senior that, you know, that want to give out a message, a love message to?
Funny thing is, I'll tell you something. I was a very amicable person all through my years in secondary school. I never got flogged from JS2 up until SS3. I was a very good student. So I really don't have enemies from that time. However, enemies from university.
Enemies.
In fact, let me not mention. I almost just mentioned the name.
How many times they call enemies in that? Okay, so who do I remember? So the thing is that for secondary school, I went to secondary school where if you were in JS2, you could punish someone in JS1.
Wow.
So if you are in JS1, you are under JS2, JS3, SS1, SS2. At the first classes.
Part of the food chain.
I remember I remember the first guy. I still remember the first guy I told to kneel down. I was like, who?
Why?
After all the years of kneeling down.
Pain on someone else.
You see? I'm just saying that, you know, the way we're brought up, there are better ways, maybe.
But honestly, we'll talk more about this.
I'm telling you,
during the top of the hour.
You know what? There's so many. I have lists. I'll call them out one day. But at this point, I think we need to wrap it up. I need to get some coffee.
Yeah, while she gets some coffee, she already has hers. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome to the Kitchen Radio Wake Up Nigeria. Fantastic morning to prepare something wonderful for breakfast. And of course, I'm not doing that. I've got Chef Ben.
Hi, good morning.
Great to have you here.
Pleasure, always.
It's always a pleasure to have Chef Ben, and I'm really curious as to what he has for us for breakfast this morning. So tell me, what are we having?
Okay, so this morning we are Nigerians love rice a lot, so we're going to be making a rice dish this morning.
A rice dish? Okay.
Yes, so and not just our indigenous rice dish, but we're going to some sort of put everything together to suit our Nigerian taste and flavor.
So when you say put everything together, I'm sure my coffee isn't part of it.
Definitely not.
But what are we putting together?
Okay, so this morning we're going to make jollof risotto.
Oh.
Okay, so risotto is an Italian dish, a northern Italian dish, basically of rice dish. So it has a particular kind of rice that is being used. So we're going to add the Nigerian flavor and the Nigerian twist of the jollof rice into it and then do something really remarkable.
So this is jollof rice the Italian
Yes.
Jollof rice fused with
Italian flavor,
flavors and
yes,
blends
basically,
and all.
yes, so to speak.
But you know what? Let's talk about the ingredients we're making use of today.
Okay, so we have some of the ingredients, that are already out here, and some other ones are still going to come out.
Yeah.
And,
Okay,
we're going to serve our risotto with honey glazed chicken breast.
Okay, so
Yes.
this is the honey.
Yeah, we have honey there,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then we
honey.
have blended tomatoes.
Blended tomato.
Yes, of
This is
course.
just tomatoes.
So it consists of tomato, pepper, shombo, onions, rodo, and all of those things blended and then steamed for the water to some sort of reduce. Yes.
Okay. And then
We've got stock in there, which is a very important
what
ingredient.
stock is this?
This is
beef
chicken stock.
or
Chicken stock.
Chicken stock?
Yes, chicken stock, yes.
Okay, this is very thick. How
Yes.
many chickens did you have to bought to achieve this?
I mean, okay, I'll call this broth because it has a lot of chicken flesh in it as well, just to, draw out the, not
because
too much of the bone, but a lot of flesh, just to get the sweetness and the flavor out of the whole thing, yeah. And then
Okay.
we've got salt, we've
Salt
got
as
black
usual,
pepper,
black
and then we've got a boiled rice here.
Okay, I'm very curious. What is
Very
this?
important. That's a black sesame seed.
Black sesame seeds. Okay,
Yes.
so we have regular sesame seeds
Yes.
and black sesame seeds
We've
as
got
well.
vegetable oil.
So
we've got
what is it
butter.
about black sesame seeds though?
I mean, it's about the health benefit, and also, for me, I like to cook with a lot of colors.
Okay.
Not just to, I like to, please the eye as well. So
Okay.
we're going to put all the colors together. So I'm going to use this to some sort of garnish the whole thing afterwards, after the cooking, basically. So this is a particular, it's a different kind of rice.
Yes.
Mainly, it's either called risotto rice or
I think you should
arbore
open
rice.
it so
Okay,
we
how
can
would
see
open?
what it looks like.
Okay.
So this is what actually separates it. We have
So
different
let me
kind of
just
rice.
pop
We
it up.
have ofada, we have, that's our local rice. We also have even our own local rice besides the ofada rice. We have the long grain parboiled rice. We have
Yes.
the regular grain. And there are actually so many others, basmati. This one is the risotto itself.
Risotto
So
rice.
this is what it looks like. It looks like a confused sesame seed. That's what I always call it. It's like overgrown baby kind of. So it's shaped quite like it. That's why I suspect that's why the ancestors started using sesame seeds.
Sesame seed.
So this is what it looks like. Take a
Yes.
look at it. So it's not your regular kind of rice. In
Yes.
case you go to the market and someone tries to sell this to you,
As
you
a
know
regular
exactly
rice.
what it
It is
looks like. So
very,
this is what
it's
the grain
very
looks like.
starchy.
See that?
Yes, short grains.
Yeah. So you said it's very starchy.
Yes.
Okay. So what many people avoid starch in
Yes.
their rice.
Yes.
I know someone who sells rice that she calls de-starched rice. So she removes as much starch as possible by washing and washing and washing before making a jollof rice.
Okay.
That's our own brand.
Okay.
But isn't starch such a bad thing?
No, I mean, it's all about preference. If you have any health issue, you ask them to eat starch, you can refrain from it. But I mean, food is to be enjoyed with all the whole thing that comes along with it. So I mean, I don't have any real issue with having to remove starch or no starch. If you have any health issue, you could get a diet or something, or go on a diet or anything. But for me,
We haven't talked about this.
Yes, so,
what is this? Because I saw you take it out of somewhere.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, we'll get to know what it is. So what
okay,
is
so
this?
this is garlic paste. I love garlic a lot. So it's been blended with vegetable oil.
Okay.
So, it's some sort of intensify the flavor, intensify the taste. So it changes everything.
Wow.
So we're going to add this to the chicken in the process of cooking. Yes.
Okay.
And also we've
but
got
how did
butter.
you get it? Again, this is butter.
Yes.
But how did you get it to be like this? Because I know sometimes when we want to make garlic paste,
Yes. Okay.
it can be quite difficult to get the garlic paste right.
Okay, so what you need to do to be able to get it right this way, you need to have it in large number.
Okay.
So if you have it in a large number, if you put it in
you
your
know
blender.
what? We buy in the market.
Okay.
So when you're talking about large number,
Okay.
let's simplify it. There's 50 naira garlic, the way it's packed.
Okay.
100 naira garlic.
Okay.
So like how many of those 50 or 100 naira garlic
Okay,
should I buy?
so this particular one is the imported one.
Oh, no
So
wonder.
that's quite easy to peel. That's quite easy to go around with. But I mean, the local garlic is quite difficult to work with. But with this, you could.
But
go ahead and-
being the chef, You have to tell us how to make the local garlic work, because that's what we have access to.
I mean, okay, so just peel enough of it.
Okay.
How long it takes you to peel it, just peel enough.
Okay.
And then just pop it into your blender. Put some vegetable oil or olive oil or any oil of your choice. Then spin it for a very long time.
Okay.
Then you get the consistency. Just ensure that. So instead of adding water to it, the vegetable oil is going to be the liquid that will some sort of bind everything together. So that's all you need to.
Out of curiosity, does it taste different, the local garlic and imported garlic?
I do know. Okay, so the local garlic has the flavor is quite intensified compared to the imported garlic.
Okay.
So I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is, but I mean, it takes a lot of time to be able to get what you need. I mean, in terms of cooking or making a garlic paste. Okay. But I mean, for easy access and easy space of work,
yeah,
just use the imported garlic if you can lay hold of this.
So where is this imported from?
I mean, from different places.
From different places,
Yes.
so it doesn't really matter.
And also,
because I was
it's
thinking,
been grown in Jos now. We have a species of it that has been grown in Jos now.
Okay.
You know, everything is probably being grown in Nigeria right now.
see, that's
So,
what
I
we're
mean,
talking about.
we're getting there basically.
Made in Nigeria, like everything can be made in Nigeria.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so let's just do a dry run of the process before we
Okay.
get started with the cooking.
Okay.
How are we going to go about it?
Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to make the tomato sauce.
Okay.
So that's like the jollof stew, basically. So, but what we're going to be very careful in doing with this one is that the oil is not going to be as much as the regular jollof stew, because you don't want the oil running
The
all
oil
over.
is what makes jollof. People don't know.
So what we need to do is make the jollof stew on one side,
Okay.
and then on the other side we're going to like this has a process of cooking.
Okay.
So it's almost like a very low process of cooking. So what we're going to do in the other pot is have our chopped onions,
Okay.
have some garlic,
Okay.
then oil goes into the pot.
Okay.
We had the onions,
Okay.
we had the garlic, the chopped
Okay.
garlic.
Okay.
Then we stir it together until it's fried a little bit. Then the rice goes in. You're not washing it.
Okay.
I mean, you're not going to wash it. So it goes in directly into the pot, and then you're going to stir for some time. Then after you see that it's sticking up to the pot, then you add stock into it.
Okay, the stock, okay.
You add the stock, and then you dilute a bit with water. So you add the stock gradually. So it's like a process. So afterwards, you're going to turn in the stew that you already made, and you're going to
Okay.
mix everything together. Then voila, you have your jollof
Okay,
risotto.
you know how I really like chefs. They make everything seem so easy until you start the process.
Yep, we will
We
start
have
the
to take a break right now. Chef Ben is still here in the kitchen. And of course, we are cooking up a stuff this morning on Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us.
For staying with us. It's Tech Tuesday. I like that, Tech Tuesday. That really does make sense. And of course, I have three very, very exciting topics, or rather videos to talk about. Very exciting. And of course, you don't want to discuss this kind of topics with any other person than Mazino. Mazino, of course, is with me this morning. How you doing, Mazino?
Hey, I'm good, man.
So, I know you're a superhero buff. You love superheroes and
Yeah,
all of
I
that.
like
You love
superheroes.
comics and all of that.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite X-Man? X-Man.
My favorite X-Men has to be Wolverine. I mean, you
Wolverine?
can't do that. I love Wolverine. Everybody loves the character that goes with Wolverine, that macho,
Okay.
5 foot tall, you know. I guess, yeah, it will be Wolverine.
Okay, but who's the ultimate X-Man?
The ultimate X-Men would have to be, I don't know if you consider him an X-Men, but from the entire series, Magneto for me, because,
Magneto, yeah?
yeah, I just love everything that he could do. Why are we
Okay.
talking about X-Men?
Some might say Phoenix and all of that. But I know a number of people love Mystique. Why do they love Mystique? Because of her shape-shifting abilities, okay? Now, this morning, we're going to be talking about the shape-shifting furniture. Like furniture that can shape-shift, okay? Now, this one's going to be interesting. Just take a look at this video. Let's see how this happens. Let's take a look at this video now. Let's take a look at this. images. Okay, now you can see what's happening here. Yeah,
interesting.
So
yeah.
it's happens. You know, that when you drop your phone and your phone wants to fall or something, it won't happen with this kind of furniture. You can throw a ball on the table and the ball will not fall. It will just catch it and grab it. See what's happening, and then you can control it with the wave movement of your hand.
You know, it looks very familiar to me, and I'll tell you why. If you are a fan of the Discovery series, Star Trek, this already, somebody just said, hey,
Olamide is that guy. We should also be talking to about this.
This is actually, they already have representation.
They already do.
Technology, and I'm thinking it's not too far off in the future. It will happen. It's already here.
This
This might be a prototype, and the more it gets advanced, it's just going to take all shapes and form. And I'm excited about it.
Do you think teleportation will be a possibility in the future?
Now, that is a very deep science that we have to consider.
It is. I must say, you know, because we've seen things that are in movies that we felt like, this is not possible. We just mentioned this movie now, and it is happening now.
Teleportation now?
No, not teleportation yet. Not teleportation yet. But you see, the idea of mass transfer, irrespective of time, you know, and space. Mass transfer. See, it happens. People are learning how to transfer things. See, there's some science to it, but some people are thinking, look, there was a time when people would think that the television was not possible, that you wouldn't see moving images. You know, but now it's happened. And then some renowned scientists at that time, some very, very cerebral people also said those things were not possible. So look, we don't know what's going to be possible in the next 50, 60, 70 years, but this really does excite me. Your phones won't fall so much, they won't break so much and all of that. Well, moving on from that, there's something also quite exciting. Now, this one is massive. Even if you're in Nigeria, you need to learn to have a global perspective of things. You need to learn to be I don't want to say ahead of the times, but at least at par with the times, right? Now, this house shape shifts also. Today is just about shape shifting,
what's
right?
up with you and Mystique today?
Mystique today. Shape shifting, right? Okay, all right, this is quite interesting. Now, this building changes based on weather and sunlight. You see, there was this particular thunder that struck last night. It was serious, man. But let's see, with this kind of a building, let's see what it entails, okay? Let's take a look at this. Okay, let's go.
Interesting.
I love how they mentioned it. The kinetic, the facade is kinetic.
So I get it now. So
Exactly
I see what it does.
Exactly.
It conserves energy, reduces the energy that comes in.
I am telling you, and then it gives solar shading. You know, the building on its own is AI. It's intelligent. Those are the steps. Those are steps also.
Now that's very interesting.
And you see, this definitely has to be German and all this. You know, there was something I read somewhere. Okay, it was on. Okay, this is in Austria, of course. You know how close they are to Germans and all that. They actually speak Austrian. Now, someone said something. Look, that Germany, they've made excellence so much their culture. Now, when you do something and it's not excellent, someone says that's not German.
It's not German, yeah.
I mean, come on, man. They have excellence is imbibed in them. So
we regard German automobiles better. So I can imagine. But that's interesting, man.
Exactly. So imagine you have a house. When it rains, it moves in a particular different way too. You know, it adapts. Adaptability and all of that. Now, this is quite interesting. This is quite interesting. And yeah, it's not just, you don't call the house, of course, these videos are cutting Mashable. Those guys, they know what they do when it comes to the tech world and all of that. But hey, come on. Mazina's already thinking of his house now.
No, it's not my house, it's your house, because I'm already married. You're single, so you should have a house that can shape-shift.
That can shape-shift,
dodge two girls at the same time.
I saw this particular door.
I saw the door too.
You saw that door? Oh God, Mazino. Why is it that you don't know what I'm talking about? Like, so the door opens both ways.
Yeah.
And then one was
opening, you can lead someone in and lead someone out the other way.
Mary.
One door.
Mary.
Me, I'm married. There's not me.
They are looking for hidden doors and hidden doorways.
No, it's the security situation that's causing
Which security situation?
Yes, thank you.
Security situation.
Yeah, security conscious. Well, I mean,
extra door to the basements that
how to ensure that she's safe. That's all Mazina's concern. All right, that's all we can take on Tech Tuesday. Of course, remember, you can check out this stuff. Just go to my handle. I retweeted them. Courtesy Mashable. Interesting stuff. stay at par with the times and what's happening. So, but then, hey, come on, let's move over to the kitchen. I remember at different times I told you that, look, technology is also taking over the kitchen. You can insert a recipe and the robot does everything. But I know that this one, Mary, what do you think about the robots doing kitchen stuff?
Well, not such a bad idea. It would be nice to just sit back, have a robot cut up vegetables and all. And who knows, you might even be able to program it to cook the meal.
It can't. It is possible, but it can't taste it just like me. You don't need robots for my own. You can't taste it like that. All right, let's see what you have.
Thank you so much. Chef Ben's still quite busy in the kitchen this morning. We're preparing something really interesting, jollof risotto. Some people are trying to wrap their heads around it like jollof risotto. And you are about to show us how this can be made. So let's get started with this, huh?
So the first thing to do is to turn on the heat.
Okay.
So if you could help me with that, please.
Okay. So we turn on the heat. More like turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Okay. And then, of course, what happens next?
So the first thing, the first thing that goes in is the vegetable oil.
The vegetable oil,
yes, just not too much, just about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil.
Okay.
So just allow, we're going to allow
2
that
tablespoons?
Yes, 2 tablespoons.
So I know you're a chef, you're the expert. How can you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I could basically eyeball it and say, okay, this is 2 tablespoons.
This is 2 tablespoons, okay. All right, so 2 tablespoons.
Yes.
Then what do we wait for it to do?
So we just turn in you could allow the oil to get hot, or either way, you could just turn it up right away.
Okay.
So we're going to start out cooking this with bay leaf because it's a dry herb. So we want it to release all the flavor, all the aroma that it has. So you have to start up the cooking with it from the very beginning.
Okay. So I'm going to put it to the highest, okay?
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so we have maximum heat as we are cooking.
Yeah, so it's also very important that you have like a heavy bottom pot to cook the risotto because you don't want it to burn out because it's like a slow process and you want the heat to come up as much as possible. Okay. So while this is cooking, we're just going to make like a normal stew, jollof rice stew, nothing really different from the regular.
Except the oil.
Except the oil that is not so much. Yes.
Okay.
So
okay.
we're going to add. I'm going to cook with seasoning cubes today because
yes, because jollof rice now you know how to do it.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so are we going to be making the rice on the other side?
Yes, so we're going to be making the rice on this part.
Okay.
Here. So what we're starting up to making the making of the rice also about a tablespoon of oil.
A tablespoon.
Yes.
So that one is a tablespoon.
A tablespoon.
Chefs.
So basically, I about that. So we want the oil to get hot.
Okay.
With this
before you
particular
put in the
before I put in the onions and then garlic goes in and then
so
the
which
rice.
of the garlic goes in? The paste.
This one.
Okay, this one.
This one goes in.
Okay, yes. Talking about the imported garlic you was talking about earlier. This is what it looks like. Looks kind of different from what we have. True. But
yes,
this is
quite bigger as well.
Yeah, it's bigger. It's bigger. You know, ours just small bulbs really. But this is bigger. So this is what it looks like when you break it, because that's what we cut here. So this is it. Just take one off like this, cut it up, and then according to Chef Ben, it's easier to crush.
Yes.
It's more malleable than
the local one. Yes,
yeah, but as you said, in Jos,
yes,
it's already been planted.
A lot of things have been grown.
We can say now that it is locally grown.
Yes, a lot of things. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Some of these herbs that we see.
Because the weather is right there.
Yes.
So a lot of things can actually be grown there. So that's actually an advantage as a matter of fact.
Yes. And I mean, you could easily source for it if it's being grown here. So it makes life a lot more easier.
And then it makes it cheaper as well.
Yes. So
besides the fact that it's more accessible. All right, so we're waiting for the oil to heat up. I can tell that oil is already hot.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It is.
You would hear the sizzling if it is. Yes. So.
Chefs know it all. Okay, so we're gonna go on a break now.
Okay, no problem.
I'm pretty sure by the time we come back, we would have gone quite far with our risotto. So by that time, we'll tell you exactly how far we've come, the things we've done so far, so you can catch up with us while we try to finish things up. Okay? The most important part.
Yep.
is in the eating at the end of the show. And I am waiting for that. Really looking forward to it.
No problem.
Chef Ben, still in the kitchen right here on Wake Up Nigeria. We have to take this break. We'll definitely be back in a bit. Stay with us.
Oh yes. Now we love that your mornings begins here with us, and we even hear that some of you guys actually set your alarms to Wake Up Nigeria show, and hey, we're not complaining. In fact, we actually like that you guys do that. Thank you very much. So we're putting together the packages just for you. Plenty of hugs and kisses to send your way this morning.
Hugs and kisses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something to go with your coffee is what I think.
Now you have to take note, though, Mazino. Hugs and kisses. We still have a pandemic going on. We need to bear in mind that we need to continue with all the COVID-19 prevention protocols as we go about our daily lives.
Yeah, Wi-Fi, everything. Hugs and kisses. And if you're operating the next 45 minutes, as we entertain you with what we have reserved for the next 3 hours.
Talking about the next 1 hour. Oof, the kitchen is alive.
We can smell it.
Chef Ben's around. Yeah, don't you just love it when a man can cook? And he looks like that. Yeah, he looks like part of the meal. Just saying. He smells like December. No, the food smells like December, not
December.
The food.
I don't know about Decembers these days. This December is a very different kind of December. Doesn't smell like December, doesn't feel like December. I'm wondering if it's the same feeling for you guys out there. 2020 December is
what?
Yeah, kind of iffy. I don't want it to smell.
We should talk about that later on.
Maybe we should, definitely.
But let's just leave it like that. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
And of course, my name is Mazino Appeal. We have a fun-filled 1 hour to go. Remember, you can use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC, and also Wake Up Nigeria is back across all social media platforms to be a part of the best breakfast show on television today.
Yes,
and
remember,
for forever.
You can watch us live on your mobile devices.
Yes, you can.
You can just download our app. The mobile app is available on the Google Play Store and, of course, for iOS. And now for what's left on the show.
All right, so coming up, for a musical performance, we will still be joined by singer, songwriter, recording artist, and performing art. That is a lot. Abayomi, how far? His name is Abayomi Sings, and we can't wait to have him on.
We also have parenting happening today. We're going to be joined by our expert, Wogogo. She is the author of The Parent Organizer. She'll be talking about having the same standard of discipline in the home between parents and their domestic workers.
Interesting topic here today for parenting. But we're talking about something from earlier. Does it feel like December? I don't know, Mike. That rain from yesterday and your thunderclap.
No, but I actually love rain. I wish there was more rain. We expect more rain this year.
Wait, but it's
it
December.
didn't come out.
I think we should be expecting the Hamatan. We should have like.
So when you hear someone says that I don't believe in climate change, you can understand how funny that kind of thinking is. A lot of things are happening. I mean, growing up by November, but already started feeling the monsoon winds, which you call the Hamatan. Yeah. But now it's changed. In fact, we start seeing it in January now this time. So things would happen like that.
Oh, are you sure it's not even a case of us having to recreate the month?
Recreate?
Like maybe it should be January to. We have December now, so maybe
we should shift the calendar.
December, maybe add another month or two. Because yes, if you look at it, this year, for example, the Hamatan extended. It was like it would never stop. They just kept going on and on. Like,
did it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Something else is
that. I remember so many things that happened this year.
Yes, it's like it's been so. Oh no, man.
So many people are in 2021.
Already.
What happened is in 2021. What happened is in 2021.
But something else about Christmas is that we normally see all these Christmas lights, shops and buildings decorated. This year, I'm not sure, for people that normally go through Victoria Island, there's actually a particular bank that usually decorates an
entire street. Yeah, I know the bank.
Did they do it this year?
I didn't see it as of last week. I didn't see it.
So is it December? Is everybody feeling some certain crutch? Is it?
Yeah.
The world has changed. I'm going to make a conscious effort to enjoy my December. I'm going to make it I want to go to as many carols as I can. I want to go to, just drive to somewhere.
You need that normalcy back.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, normalcy, but there's so much. Someone was watching a news station and snapped a friend of mine like, look, I'm tired of all the depression, all the news and all of that. I know we are in media. At times
we need to detox
Yeah.
while we're getting ready for you. But I love that we are in soft news
Yeah,
and all of that
yeah.
soft stuff. But hey, come on, do the best you can
To celebrate.
you know, to have a feel. You know, go out, go under some Christmas lights, take a picture, fool around.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking that one day when Mazin wants to go on the bike, I'll just go to the car and follow him behind.
Hey, you're welcome. You are
would.
welcome. We actually have
seriously,
arrangements for stuff like that.
I seriously, I think I might want to do that.
All in all, there's a lot to be thankful for, a lot we should celebrate this December. But at this point, it's time for us to take the weather update.
All right. And you're welcome back. Let's do the news again for the second hour here for a Tuesday. So, Thursday, 10th of December, that's the day President Muhammadu Buhari will address a joint session of the National Assembly on the worsening security situation in the country. Now, that's according to the President's personal assistant on social media, Loretta Onochie, who disclosed this on her Twitter handle yesterday. The President's visit to the National Assembly is coming a few days after the House of Representatives invited him to appear before the lawmakers. The majority leader of the House, Alassane Ado Doguwa, also confirmed the President's address at the National Assembly in an exclusive interview with TVC News yesterday. He insists the visit will afford the lawmakers the opportunity to seek answers to many questions bothering Nigerians.
The meeting we had with him, the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, and my humble self, was simply to convey to him the resolution of the House that we were inviting him to come and interface, engage and see and address the members of the House of Representatives. And by so doing, like the Speaker has rightly put, is that he is coming to address Nigerians through their representatives. And we must have to commend Mr. President in the first place for even accepting to honor this House, to honor the Nigerian people as a democratically elected president, to come and do what has never happened in the history of Nigeria's legislature. Even at the state level, you find out governors turning down the invitation of their state assemblies.
Now, of course, he also disowned opposition member Kingsley Chinda's statements calling on members to commence impeachment moves against President Muhammadu Buhari over worsening security in the country. It described the call as a misrepresentation of the intent of the House for inviting Mr. President over worsening insecurity. The majority leader of the House, Alassane Ado Doguwa, says the call is unpatriotic and the House may sanction the member over what he calls a wrongdoing. Meanwhile, a forum of young northern professional, politicians and religious leaders known as Unity in Diversity Forum has canvassed for the deployment of security elite force on a 24-hour shift to all known roads and highways in the northern parts of the country. This resolution was reached after a 4-hour meeting by the forum in Abuja. Correspondent Habida Lawan reports.
Back! Now it's about time for us to take some music. A lot of people love the music we have on Wake Up Nigeria, and it's one of my favorite parts of the show. Today for a musical performance, we have singer, songwriter, recording artist, and performing artist Abayomi, a.k.a. Yomi Sings. Take it away, Yomi.
Every day above ground is a great day to try. Happiness is free. Happiness is free. Oh, happiness is free. No. Happiness is free. Happiness is free. Oh, happiness is free.
Amazing performance, we must say. Amazing performance. Indeed, happiness is free. But the food in the kitchen this morning is not. And it's so amazing just how much work goes into making this dish.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be, you know, easy peasy. But you see these wrists, they've seen
It's
things
been
this
working
morning.
since.
Because you have to keep stirring. Chef
Yes.
Ben is still in the kitchen. And today we are making Jollof Risotto. Have you ever tried that? Well, you can learn how to make it yourself. Okay, so Chef Ben,
Yep.
what have we done so far and what are we doing next?
Okay, so basically what we've done so far is that we've made the jollof stew
Okay.
on one part. This is it in here. And we sauteed our onions,
Okay.
added some garlic.
Okay,
That's the chopped garlic.
okay,
And then we added some tomato puree. That's why you see the color is like this.
okay.
And then we've been stirring. We've added some water. We've added some stock. And we've been on low heat for quite some time now.
Yeah,
So you have to consistently stir the rice
yeah.
in one motion,
Okay.
basically. So this way.
Now I have a good understanding of why this particular meal sometimes can be quite pricey.
Yes.
Because a lot of physical
A lot
work,
of work.
goes into it. You think you know how to, you know, stir eba. How many minutes? With the
And
hot
also
water. Yeah,
it's
but this one?
It's important that you know that it's to be cooked al dente.
Yeah,
So-
like spaghetti.
Yeah, so what I mean by al
Yes.
dente is soft to the tooth,
Yeah.
not completely
It
soft.
should be chewy.
Yes, a
basically.
bit, yes,
so you
chewy.
cannot cook it soft or else you won't get it the correct
Okay, so
consistency.
the next thing we're going to do now,
Okay.
because we are at that point where we need to add the jollof seed that we made before
Okay,
now.
okay,
So we're just going to pop in
yeah.
some of
So
the
the
jollof
stock
seed.
already went into
Yes.
the rice, right?
The rice, yes.
So it was the stock we used initially for the rice. In case you're wondering
Why it reduced.
Why it's reduced. It's
Yes.
about to reduce even more.
So, and then we're just
So you
going to
just keep
stir
stirring.
this together.
Stirring. The work to make this food. Wow.
So that everything cooks evenly.
Yeah.
Now you see it's looking like our jollof. And don't
Jollof,
forget, I
yeah.
said it initially that it's a starchy meal and it's almost like you're eating like a porridge kind of. So you see the color is all coming together.
Taste is what matters.
Yes, basically.
Taste, basically. Taste. Wow. Okay, so you have to keep stirring
Yes,
this,
just
Abby.
need to continue stirring. And then the next thing we're going to do now, we're just going to turn this here.
Okay.
Now
I
it's
hope
to
you're not
sear.
going to ask me to continue stirring.
Maybe you should actually. Thank you. So the next thing we're going to do now is to start off with our chicken. And then
Okay.
we're going to season with some salt
Okay.
on one side first.
Okay. Just salt. Okay.
Yes,
Salt.
and the black pepper.
Black pepper. Did we use sesame seeds, black and white? Not yet.
Yes, but we're
Okay.
getting to the time when we're going to use it.
Okay.
So,
So-
you want to ensure that the pan is nice and hot. Then you pop in your oil. Just about a tablespoon is fine,
Tablespoon.
not too
That
much.
a chef can know by just pouring.
Yes, we call it eyeballing.
Yeah.
This is eyeballing. So
Sip.
then the chicken goes in on the part that was seasoned.
Okay.
So then as we continue, we're going to season this other
This
part,
other side.
other side
Okay,
as well. So
okay.
let's just do that right away.
Okay.
Just going to season it slightly. It's amazing the power of salt.
Especially with chicken.
Yes.
Like you don't even need so much when it
At
comes
all.
to chicken. You don't.
So just season with black pepper.
So this is what it looks like. In case you're wanting to take a look.
Yes, so I'm
see?
just going to
This
taste.
is what we've been stirring. So you just have to keep stirring it. Okay. To see if it's the right consistency. Now remember, as Chef Ben said, it must be al dente, which means it shouldn't be too soft.
Yes, we are good.
Okay. We're good.
Yes.
I don't have to stir anymore.
Yes, you don't have to.
I am so
we're
glad.
just
But
gonna
take a
set
look
this
at
aside.
it. Take a look at it. See, this is it. So the stirring,
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of
stirring.
Like the stirring is actually the major part of this meal, because you have to keep stirring.
And you can see the starch, everything
Yes.
comes
yeah.
together. The color, it's all there.
Yeah.
And then when you yes, when you taste, it, you feel the Nigerian flavor. You feel the
Because
pepper.
it's
You
jollof
feel
rice after
everything.
all.
It's jollof rice after all.
Yeah. So back to the chicken now.
Yes. So
Yeah.
this is stirring nicely. So,
Okay.
so
That's
at this,
fast searing.
yes. So at this
So I
point,
can stop stirring this and take it
yes,
off.
you can. You can just take it
Okay.
out.
Yes, that is ready.
Yes.
There you go.
So at this point now, I just want to add the butter.
Okay.
Butter transforms everything.
True.
And then I'm going to add in the garlic paste as well.
Oh, so the garlic paste, all this one was for the chicken?
It was for the chicken.
Oh.
And then we're going to begin to baste the chicken.
Oh boy. So I discovered the beauty of ginger, garlic, and chicken.
Exactly.
Like, if you want your chicken to pop, like pop, just put in loads of raw ginger and garlic, especially when you're boiling.
Very important.
Cooking,
I mean, it's
whatever.
amazing.
It does magic to your chicken, believe me. It does magic
So
to it.
something else I'm going to add at this point is I want to infuse herb into it.
Okay.
So I'm going to add some chopped parsley.
Chopped parsley, okay.
Yeah, so you could go in with anything you have, maybe thyme, fresh thyme,
Okay.
rosemary, or anything you have.
Okay.
But for this one, I'm going to add in some of the fresh
Wow.
chops.
Now I'm noticing you're not putting it on the chicken because
Yes.
you want it to get infused with
into
the
the
garlic
oil,
and
the garlic and everything.
butter.
So what I'm going to do next is
Oh.
to baste this way.
This is so nice. This is when you go to a restaurant and you're told it's not so expensive, just about 4,000 naira or more.
Maybe more.
Okay, so we want to take a look at this,
Okay.
see what it looks like. You see that?
And you can see the butter is also going to add the flavor
Yeah.
and everything
Yeah.
all into it. The herb, everything is going to go in there.
This is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to dig into this. Don't worry. On social media, I'll tell you exactly how it tasted. Yes. No, my wrists ache.
Sorry.
Okay, so I believe that's about as much as we have to show you right now, especially regarding cooking this meal. Easy, in quotes. You just have to have good wrist and you'll be good to go.
Yeah,
so
basically.
Chef Ben is going to plate this, so you see what it's going to look like. The plating is one of my favorite parts because you look at the meal and it looks all good.
Yes, everything all works together.
Yeah, and then when you put it on the plate,
Yes.
it totally changes everything.
Transforms, yes.
Okay, so I believe we're going to take a break now.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course there's more conversation coming on. Stay with us as Wake Up Nigeria.
Welcome back. Now it's time for our parenting segment. And today we're joined by expert MM Nwogugu. Now she's the author of The Parent Organizer, and she'll be talking about having the same standard for discipline in the home between parents and their domestic workers. Now this is a big deal. It's a huge deal. A lot of parents don't really think about it much, but I'm very pleased that you were able to come talk to us. Welcome back and welcome to our new set.
Thank you for having me this morning.
All right. So I know there must have been a reason for you to pick this topic.
Yes.
So what was the reason for it?
I've noticed whenever I go to play with my daughter, to different playgrounds, different activities, I noticed that a lot of kids are very rude to their domestic workers.
Okay.
And I've actually had conversations with some domestic workers who tell me that they're not allowed to discipline these children. And I'm like, there should be an agreed standard of discipline from the parents to the domestic workers and even relatives, because it takes a village to raise a child. But there should be conversations on this is what you should do if this child misbehaves. If the child does this, reports, or there are consequences for this behavior. But now you see a lot of parents allow their children talk to their domestic workers anyhow, and there are no consequences for their behavior. So I think I have a problem with that. So.
Okay, so you know that there are definitely different types of domestic workers.
Yes.
We're talking nannies here,
Yes,
or
yes.
child care,
Yeah.
child
The
care,
nannies, housekeeper.
Yeah. Okay, housekeepers.
Yes, we have
cooks, drivers, I guess.
drivers, and all of that. So it's so important that when you want to hire your domestic workers, that you have a standard of the quality of candidate that you should hire. For me, I would advise for a 21st century parent, you should hire someone who can read and write. For basics. I mean, reading and writing is so important because you want someone who is able to communicate with your children, who can assist and support them even during the homework as well. Even if as a parent, you're still supposed to look at your children's homework or do it with them, but it's very important to have someone who can support you also, you know, on that particular journey of parenting.
So I appreciate the fact that you said, you know, there are a lot of parents that are not conscious of how rude their kids could be to these domestic workers. Now, for myself, I have a rule. You know, I'm very strict with my girls when it comes to talking anyhow to anyone that's above their age.
Yes.
But I think this is just the traditional, maybe Yoruba woman in me.
Yeah.
If you're rude, you're going to apologize and you're likely going to be disciplined for
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
But then why do you think, so where does the discipline start from? So I know some fathers are harder on their sons than their daughters, and vice versa for mothers. Talk to us a bit about that.
I think for discipline, you first of all have to sit down with your partner, your spouse, and decide what style of parenting do you both have. Because most times you meet two people who have different styles of parenting because of how they were raised.
Okay.
You find someone who was raised by an authoritarian parent, some other person has an authoritative parent, another person was raised by a permissive parent. These are all different parenting styles. And then you can now decide, how are we going to come together and raise these children, and what kind of discipline would I want both of us to, give this child when the child behaves well, or when the child behaves out of character. So you have to discuss it. Most people don't discuss it. You know why? They're just carried away with having the child, paying the bills, going about their work, daily lives, and then they allow their normal emotions to take over. Because, the child misbehaves, you start hitting the child with a pair of slippers. You start hitting the child with your hands. These were not discussed before they started having children, and that's what you see every day. But when we sit down, talk about it, then we agree. This child is going to do timeout if they do this. This child is going to be, will not be rewarded if they misbehave. So you have to discuss this. There are different styles of discipline. One, there's reward, where the child gets rewarded for good behavior, where you catch the child doing something good and you reward the child for their good behavior. Another one, there's timeout, where the child is actually misbehaving and you're really not going to hit the child, but say, you know what, I need you to go on timeout. This behavior is not acceptable. And that gives them some time to think about their behavior. There's another one where you actually take privileges from the child. So you tell the child, if you do not do this, you're not going to watch TV, you're not going to get your screen time, and the child knows that you're serious. And it has to be around things that they really, really love. Because most kids will want to, you can't tell them no TV time, they're going to sit up. But most parents don't have any style. They just hit their children. They're just doing anything. And at the same time, they don't have, they haven't discussed this with their domestic workers. The domestic staff doesn't have any authority to discipline their children in their absence, number one. Number two, they haven't discussed with their partner what style of discipline would we, because I wanted to punish my daughter, kneel down. Mother said no, she can't kneel down, she's not a slave. She can't face the wall like she's in a prison. She can do timeout. And we discussed this. It wasn't funny, but now I cannot tell her go and kneel down because it's not acceptable.
For your husband, obviously.
For my husband.
So let me talk a bit about enforcing this discipline.
Yes.
So there is one, you could have the conversation, but then when it comes down to it, and this child is wailing and crying, and daddy please, daddy please, one of you is going to break, one of you is going to melt.
True.
And enforcing discipline sometimes ends up landing on the lap of the domestic worker.
True.
So in many cases I've seen where as soon as the parents go out, the kids sit up because they know that the domestic staff is not going to take nonsense from them.
Yes.
And then it sort of diminishes the authority of the parent. So I'm considering, discussing that particular area, especially when domestic worker comes in and isn't given a template or a list of rules and regulations to go by.
It's so important that there's an agreed standard. The domestic workers should know, you can't talk to my child like this, you can't scream at my child, that's abuse, you can do this and you can do this. And then these are the boundaries. They must be agreed, but the child should also know the boundaries. The child should know. So mommy, she did this. So the child can report if the domestic worker does something outside the agreed mode of discipline. So if that's, most people don't discuss it, they assume, just tell the child, you're older, do whatever you like. Or they don't tell the nanny and the nanny does whatever she likes. So that's dangerous, very dangerous, and I don't accept that. I think you should discuss and then keep teaching until the nanny understands what you want to achieve.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is as soon as you get the nanny, before work even starts, you have a conversation.
Yes, training.
Should the children be involved in this conversation, or should it be
at the beginning?
A one-on-one?
No, it should be a one-on-one with the nanny first, and then as time goes on, if your child can talk, educate your child that if you misbehave, Mrs. A is going to do this to you. Mrs. B, they tell the child that this is what is going to happen. And then educate your child what is agreed. Because you're already teaching your children about bullying before now, and they already know what is the extent of punishment. And most children will tell you, if it's so terrible, they're like, this will happen when you're not around, and the parents would know.
But you know, some kids are kind of smart.
I know.
They take advantage of these things.
Yes, they will.
And they try and play both sides.
Yes.
You know, they want to get their way, you know, and they sort of switch things up on you. So I've actually witnessed it where a parent went crazy at the nanny just because the child said this, and that.
Yeah.
Whereas it was a completely different situation. And I know a lot of domestic workers have had that happen before, and they just decide to pull back.
Yes.
They become nonchalant and all that.
That's true.
So is it actually okay for the nanny to completely pull all the way back?
No.
And okay?
I don't think it's okay. I think when your domestic workers see that you're a person of integrity and that you have very good standards, they will respect you and they will understand your vision for raising that child. And you talk to them like human beings. You respect them yourself. If you respect your domestic workers, your children will respect your domestic workers as well. They won't speak to them rudely when you're not at home because they know that this is how my mommy and daddy, they call them by Mrs. They say thank you, they say please, and the child sees you correcting. The child knows that you correct them when they are rude to your domestic workers. So there's some kind of calmness. Everybody understands this is what is not acceptable. I haven't had that issue because they keep seeing us doing the right thing and then scolding the child when the child is rude to them. And the child knows that mommy and daddy doesn't let me speak to this woman this way.
Yeah.
So that means even when I'm not at home, if the child does that, the nanny will report. And she has the right to also discipline the child with a timeout or call me on the phone and then I'll speak to the child. So everything, there's a good communication line open.
I think that there's a lot that everyone has learned at home today. And if you haven't built your own standards with your workers, we're just suggesting that you do something about it right now. Tell us what you think on social media. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. And if you have questions, you can add the questions as well. I'd like to invite you to our kitchen. Now, Chef Ben has been cooking up a storm. Yeah, let's go. Okay. Let's go. Okay. And let's see. Oof, that looks good.
Like risotto. Am I right?
Take a seat.
Am I right?
Yeah,
risotto.
Go ahead. All right. Easy. You got it?
There you go.
Thank you.
Welcome to the kitchen, MS.
Thank you.
Everyone else. Chef Ben, our chef for today, and he has prepared something really fantastic. We're talking about the Jollof Risotto. Let's take a look at what it is.
Oh, look at it.
See that?
Okay.
What's this thing?
Oh,
okay, so Chef Ben, be telling us about this.
Okay, so this is a jollof risotto and with honey glazed chicken breast. So basically it's a derivative of the Italian dish, so just to add a little of our own flavor to it, basically. So that's why, you know, we've had the Nigerian twist of jollof rice to it, but I mean still maintaining that origin of where it's emanated from. So, you know, it's marshy rice. We're using the same particular kind of rice.
MM is like, oh, okay. Can I jig it already?
It will be plenty.
Go ahead.
Serious.
Taste.
Okay. Taste the rice.
Whose idea was it that our guests will be eating our food?
I don't understand.
It used to be me.
No.
Yeah, that was the lockdown thing.
Really nice.
Thank you very much.
Lovely.
We need another lockdown,
And
Mazino.
it smells amazing as well.
Lovely. Amazing.
Mazino, we need to plan for now lockdown.
Thank you.
We have to ensure that lockdown comes in. Thank you, Chef Ben.
wow.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Honestly,
Fantastic.
it's
Lovely
been
meal.
an amazing show, people. Been an amazing show. Thank you so much to everyone who was part of it. And to all of you watching at home, we love your social media comments, contributions, and all that. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. We'll be back, yeah?
Definitely tomorrow, Wednesday edition, join us. And of course, until then, be good and hey, catch the girls tomorrow.
Bye!
You're so excited, aren't you?